I am Demi Lovato. I'm 25. The last decade has taught me a lifetime of lessons. I've learned that secrets make you sick. I'm learning how to be a voice and not a victim. I've learned that sex is natural. I've learned that love is necessary. Heartbreak is unavoidable. And loneliness is brutal. I've learned that the key to being happy is to tell your truth and be okay without all the answers. This is my story. This is simply complicated. I was in Colombia. I was on the Camp Rock 2 tour. And I invited a bunch of people to dinner, my band and my background dancers. I paid for all the alcohol. Somebody ended up getting weed. I was on Adderall, and we had trashed the hotel. The hotel was like threatening us. They went to some of the dancers and asked what had happened. And I think they told on me for using Adderall. Somebody told Kevin Jonas Sr. and Phil and my dad. I was very upset. I couldn't believe that it happened. Now it was out that I was on Adderall. The next day, I was in a lot of trouble. I remember going to Kevin Sr. and saying, listen, I want to thank whoever told on me because I know they were just worried about me. And, you know, I just really want to know who told you. And I manipulated him into telling me who it was. And he said it was Shorty. Shorty and I had been really close through Camp Rock and Camp Rock 2. So when he said Shorty, I remember thinking, I'm about to beat this bitch up.
I remember I was up in the front of the plane.
She had already boarded the plane.
Demi walks up onto the plane and I heard some commotion.
I just went up to her and it was like a blur.
And I turned around and Demi had punched her backup dancer in the face.
Everyone was freaking out.
She walked right past me without acknowledging me.
I just remember going and sitting down.
Just this angry look on her face.
Texting my mom, I'm sorry.
Put her head on her pillow and shut out the world.
And I slept the whole day.
That was when it dawned on me that this was probably a much bigger situation than just a kid who wanted to party.
I just came to a breaking point.
The next 12 months were extremely difficult.
I was 18 when I first went into treatment.
Demi was diagnosed bipolar when she checked into treatment the first time.
When I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, it just made sense. When I was younger, I didn't know why I would stay up so late writing and playing music. And then I learned about episodes of mania. And I realized that that's probably what it was. I was manic. In a way, I knew that it wasn't my fault anymore. Something was actually off with me.
She had such a glow to her the first time I saw her when she came out of treatment. The glow started to fade each day that passed.
I wasn't working my program. I wasn't ready to get sober. I was sneaking it on planes, sneaking it in bathrooms, sneaking it throughout the night. Nobody knew.
This is an 18-year-old who's totally outmaneuvering adults.
I went on like a bender of like 2 months where I was using daily, and there was one night where I used a bunch of Coke and I popped a few Xanax bars and I started to choke a little bit and my heart started racing. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I might be overdosing right now.
I remember we were in New York and she clearly was on something. And she was on air promoting this new way of life. And I was like, you're so full of it. I wasn't equipped to be able to handle that situation. And so I got a list of several recommendations of people that specialize in this. And I ended up connecting and speaking with Mike Baer.
Demi was on a road to like suicide. She'd have like bags of pills and an 8-ball of Coke.
I was either craving drugs or on drugs.
She is nasty.
I was not easy to work with. I was using while I had a sober companion. And I went through about 20 different sober companions.
It was really like she was two different people. Every day was like going to war.
We were in Palm Springs and she locked her bedroom door. She's just taken a bunch of pills. We kicked down the door. She gets taken to the hospital. The nurse is checking her in. The bottle of pills is there. She grabs the pills. She then downs all the other pills and says, you bitch. If I just tried to kill myself, why would you give me access to pills?
I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel embarrassed.
Then she goes from there to a psych ward. None of that did anything. She still isn't wanting to get clean. She's so black and white. She really one day would want to get well, the next day not want to get well. And when she didn't want to get well, she'd have to flip back to, it was just, for her, it was chaotic.
It was completely exhausting, physically and emotionally.
I would sneak out, get drugs.
Manipulating.
I would fake my drug tests with other people's pee.
She didn't care what the consequences were.
A couple days sober, and then she'd use.
And I'd lie straight to their faces.
She didn't care about her career.
And we couldn't get momentum on our side.
It was very difficult to work off that very small part of her that did want to get well.
It's embarrassing to look back at the person that I was. The very last night that I drank, I was at a hotel and I invited 2 random people and basically just drank with them. I got really, really drunk until it was time to get on a flight. And I was so drunk that I threw up in the back of the car service on the way to the airport to perform on American Idol.
Ladies and gentlemen, Demi Lovato.
When your lips are on my lips, then our hearts beat as one.
Here she is, she goes to American Idol, she's hungover, she has total disregard for it. It was a horrible feeling.
I felt like that was a moment in my career where I didn't care.
Demi was clearly in a bad place.
I just knew that I needed to be high to get through what I was going through at that point.